Sirens wailed, their piercing cries echoing through the concrete canyons of Manhattan. Red and blue lights painted the faces of the gathering crowd a chaotic kaleidoscope. The air crackled with tension, fear a palpable presence. On the ledge of a towering skyscraper, a lone figure stood silhouetted against the setting sun. Tears streamed down her face, her shoulders shaking with silent sobs. Life had lost its meaning, the pain of a broken heart an unbearable weight. Below, the world watched, holding its breath. First responders swarmed the scene, their efforts seemingly futile. Hope seemed to dwindle with each passing second. Then a flash of red and blue cut through the despair. Spider-Man. He moved with a speed that defied gravity, scaling the building with effortless grace. His voice, a soothing whisper against the wind, reached her ears. Words of comfort, of hope, spun from his lips, a lifeline thrown across an abyss of despair. He reached her, his presence a beacon of warmth in the encroaching darkness. Gently he coaxed her back from the edge, his words weaving a tapestry of hope. And as she stepped back onto solid ground, the crowd erupted, their cheers a deafening roar that shook the very foundations of the city. Spider-Man had saved them, once again. The lecture hall at New York State University buzzed with anxious whispers. Dr. Emily Baylor, a renowned physicist, stood at the podium, her face etched with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. On the screen behind her, a single word glowed ominously: plutonium. Her lecture, intended to demystify the element and its uses, had inadvertently ignited a firestorm of controversy. Students shifted uncomfortably in their seats, their faces reflecting a mixture of curiosity and fear. The recent theft of weapons-grade plutonium from a nearby research facility had cast a long shadow over the city. Now, Dr. Baylor's presentation served as a stark reminder of the potential consequences, the devastating power that lay dormant within the heart of the atom. Among the students, Peter Parker listened intently, his brow furrowed in thought. As Spider-Man, he had witnessed firsthand the destructive capabilities of humanity. The thought of such power falling into the wrong hands sent a chill down his spine. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss, a growing unease that gnawed at the edges of his mind. The air hung heavy with the smell of stale pizza and nervous energy. In a dimly lit dorm room, three figures huddled around a makeshift workbench, their faces illuminated by the flickering glow of a laptop screen. They were brilliant minds, driven by a potent cocktail of idealism and fear. The world, they believed, stood on the brink of destruction. Only they had the courage to avert disaster. They had never intended to become criminals, but desperation had a way of twisting even the noblest of intentions. The stolen plutonium, they believed, held the key to ending conflict, to forcing the world to disarm. They would build a weapon, a deterrent so powerful, so terrifying, that no nation would dare to threaten another ever again. Fueled by youthful arrogance and a misplaced sense of righteousness, they toiled through the night, their every move shadowed by the specter of their creation. They were playing with forces they barely understood, their actions a dangerous gamble with the fate of millions hanging in the balance. The explosion rocked the building, sending shockwaves through the night. Spider-Man, alerted by the sudden surge of energy, arrived to find chaos. Smoke billowed from a shattered window, debris littering the ground below. Inside, he found the students, their faces pale with shock. One lay on the floor, her breathing shallow, her skin already showing signs of radiation burns. He had been too late. The bomb, thankfully, was inert, but the damage was done. The stolen plutonium, now emitting dangerous levels of radiation, posed a new threat. He needed to get the injured student medical attention, secure the area, but as he moved to leave, sirens pierced the night. The authorities had arrived. Inspector DiCarlo, his face grim beneath the brim of his fedora, surveyed the scene with a practiced eye. "Spider-Man," he growled, his voice laced with suspicion. "We meet again. And where exactly did you say you were when this little incident occurred?" The accusation hung heavy in the air. Spider-Man found himself trapped, his secret identity teetering on the brink of exposure. High atop a luxurious penthouse overlooking the glittering cityscape of Geneva, Mr. White, a man whose name was whispered in hushed tones in the darkest corners of the globe, surveyed the news reports with a predatory gleam in his eyes. The theft of the plutonium, a symphony of chaos orchestrated by his own hand, had unfolded perfectly. Now, all that remained was to exploit the ensuing panic. He had always considered himself a businessman, albeit one who operated outside the confines of conventional morality. The world was a game and he, a master player. The plutonium, in the hands of amateurs, was a liability. In his hands, it would be a masterpiece, a tool to reshape the world to his will. "Angel," he purred, his voice smooth as silk, addressing his hulking lieutenant. "It appears our American friends have been rather careless. It's time we paid them a visit." A cruel smile played upon his lips. The game was afoot,